Both the Bills and Dolphins can make the playoffs at 8-8 if things break their way. Tom Szczerbowski, Getty Images. With just 2 weeks of regular season left, the number of teams that can still make the playoffs, who haven't already secured their berths, has been whittled down to 14. Out of those, 5 teams enter Week 16 with at least an 87% chance, and 2 teams with a chance of 3% or lower, according to 538's NFL predictions. But the real fun lies with those teams in the middle that do not control their own destiny over the remaining 2 weeks. AFC. The AFC has 3 teams that have already made the playoffs: New England, Pittsburgh, and Jacksonville. Kansas City, which may have had the biggest roller coaster of a season of any team in the league, will join them with a single win against either Miami or Denver. Baltimore needs 2 wins to clinch a playoff spot but can also get in a few ways with 1, considering that they have an 84% chance of beating Indianapolis in Week 16 and a 79% chance of defeating Cincinnati in Week 17. Let's assume the Ravens are in. The rest of the AFC's playoff picture is made up of 3 teams with at least a 15% chance and a couple of teams with next to no chance. Note: for the purpose of this article, we are going to ignore scenarios that involve ties. They are just too absurd, so we will spare you and ourselves. Tennessee probably shouldn't be in this kind of mess, but after being torched for 381 passing yards by the new golden boy of the 49ers, quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, the Titans find themselves in a precarious position. Mike Mularkey's men probably have the toughest remaining schedule of any AFC team trying to make the playoffs. In Week 16, the Titans welcome the LA Rams to Nissan Stadium, and they then host Jacksonville in Week 17. The easiest path for Tennessee is to beat the Rams and the Jaguars and then hope Buffalo loses to either the Patriots or the Dolphins in Week 17. If the Titans lose to the Rams but beat the Jags and Buffalo somehow manages to win both of their games, the Titans will need 1 loss from the Ravens. But fear not, Titans fans, you still have options even if your team loses both games. Week outcome probability. Cumulative probability 16. Buffalo loses to New England 84%. Miami loses to Kansas City 63.84 liters. Chargers lose to NY Jets 27.4512. Baltimore loses to Indianapolis 4.392192. Buffalo loses to Miami 2.28393984. Buffalo. Like Tennessee, Buffalo is in decent shape if it wins its remaining 2 games. With a 10-6 record, there would be a couple of ways to get in, but the most likely would involve a Titans loss to the Rams in Week 16. The bad news there, however, is that the Bills in Week 16 face the Patriots, against whom they're just 5-30 since 2000 and have just a 16% chance of beating on Sunday. If they fall to the Pats, the Bills still have a decent chance as long as they beat the Dolphins in Week 17. The strange thing about how all of this works out is that, presuming Buffalo does beat Miami, a win for the Titans over the Rams in Week 16 would actually benefit the Bills, and then a Jacksonville victory over Tennessee in Week 17 would secure Buffalo's spot in the postseason. That's because the NFL's tie-breaking criteria is different depending on which team the Bills are being compared with. However, even if the Bills lose both games, they aren't dead. Buffalo can end its 17-year playoff drought at 8-8, which would be a very Bills move, but they would need a lot of help. Week outcome probability. Cumulative probability 16. Miami loses to Kansas City 76 liters. Chargers lose to NY Jets 43-32.68. Baltimore loses to Indianapolis 16-5.2288. 17. Baltimore loses to Cincinnati 21-1.098048 liters. Chargers after starting the season 0-4. LA had just a 1% chance of making the playoffs, according to our projections. Philip Rivers and company then reeled off 7 wins in their next 9 games to jump right in the middle of the playoff conundrum in what was perhaps the best turnaround of any team this season. That season will end if the Chargers don't win out, assuming they do that. However, the Chargers can still win the division if Kansas City also loses its 2 remaining games. But let's imagine that Alex Smith and Kareem Hunt turn it on for at least one of those games, because we're not in this for simplicity. The Chargers' path to the final AFC playoff spot then gets really complicated. Week outcome probability. Cumulative probability 16 liters. Rams beat Tennessee 60 liters. Chargers beat NY Jets 57-34.2. Miami beats Kansas City 24-8.208. Indianapolis beats Baltimore 16-1.31328. Buffalo beats New England 16-0.2101248. Leaders.A. Chargers beat Oakland 67-0.140783616. Kansas City beats Denver 61-0.085878006. Buffalo loses to Miami 52-0.044656563. Cincinnati beats Baltimore 21-0.009377878. Miami with 8 losses. Jay Cutler and the Dolphins have no business being in the playoffs this year, but yes, it's still in the realm of possibility. Here is how it could happen. Week outcome probability cumulative probability 16. Leaders.A. Rams beat Tennessee 60-60. Leaders.A. Chargers lose to New York Jets 43-25.8. Miami beats Kansas City 24-6.192. Indianapolis beats Baltimore 16-0.9907217. Jacksonville beats Tennessee 53-0.5250816. Miami beats Buffalo 52-0.273042432. Baltimore loses to Cincinnati 21-0.057338911. Oakland the disappointing 6-8. Oakland Raiders are still mathematically alive. Raiders fans, we will indulge your fantasies, but we really think you should focus on the Warriors' chances at winning another title. Here it is. Week outcome probability cumulative probability 16. Buffalo loses to New England 84-84. Tennessee loses to LA Rams 60-50.4. Miami beats Kansas City 24-12.096. Oakland beats Philadelphia 18-2.17728. Baltimore loses to Indianapolis 16-0.348364817. Baltimore beats Cincinnati 79-0.275208192. Tennessee loses to Jacksonville 53-0.145860342. Miami beats Buffalo 52-0.075847378. Oakland beats LA Chargers 33-0.025029635. NFC. While a 9-7 record might be enough to make the cut in the AFC, teams in the NFC won't be so lucky, and there are even some scenarios that a team with 10 wins doesn't get in. The Eagles and Vikings already have their berths secured, and a single win will be enough for both the Rams and Panthers to make the playoffs. Where it becomes less certain is in the game between the Saints and Falcons. The winner will secure their berth, and the loser will need a win in Week 17 to secure theirs. But let's assume the loser of the Atlanta and New Orleans game loses its next game, because chaos is great. This will open the door for Dallas, Detroit or Seattle to sneak into the dance. Dallas has largely been overrated for much of the season but has pulled off 3 straight wins to keep hope alive in Jerry World. The Cowboys must win their Week 16 virtual elimination game against the Seahawks, with the loser's path ended and the winners surviving another week. Dallas must then beat Philadelphia, which will be without star quarterback Carson Wentz and may have already secured home field advantage throughout the playoffs by then, and rely on the Lions losing to the Packers, which becomes even more unrealistic if Aaron Rodgers does